right. Welcome to the next lesson, lesson 1.4 and 1.5, day 4. Today we're doing some distributive property. So remember, distribute means to give. So we're going to take that 2x, we're going to give it. When you give something, you do it with love, so it multiplies. So 2x times 5x, 2 times 5 is 10. X times x is x to the second power. You add the exponents. 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, you can do the same thing over to the next set. 2x times 3 is equal to 6x, because 2 times 3 is 6. Bring the x along. There's a plus sign between them. So this is your final one. I also want to do d with you, just to kind of give you a hint. So xy squared times x squared, x to the first times x to the second. 1 plus 2 is 3, so that's going to be x to the third. The y squared comes along because it doesn't have anything to multiply with. You're going to do the same thing over here. X y squared times y squared is going to be x y to the fourth, because 2 plus 2 is 4. It's separated by a minus sign. So that's A and D. Do the rest on your own, very similar. Over here, we're going to go backwards. So we have x squared minus 12x equals 4x times something. So since they're separated by a minus sign, you know there's going to be a minus sign between them. To figure out what goes here, 4 times what number gives me 8? That number is 2. X times what gives me x squared? That's going to be x. Because remember, x to the first times x to the first, add 1 plus 1, you get 2. If that confuses you, then think about dividing by 4x. 8 divided by 4 is 2. X squared divided by x to the first. Subtract them when you're dividing. So 2 minus 1 is 1. So this is 2x to the first, or 2x. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Divide by 4x. 12 divided by 4 is 3. The x's cancel out because they're exactly the same thing. I'm going to do A and D with you. Over here, this looks a little bit different, right? We now are factoring out the x minus 2. So there's a x minus 2 here and a x minus 2 here. Okay, so if I take the x minus 2 out, if I divide both sides by x minus 2, these cancel out. So all I'm left with here is 4 squared. So I'm going to put a 4x squared, not 4 squared, 4x squared. They're separated by a minus sign, so I'm going to put that. Let me just go ahead and clear this little jumble here. If I divide this whole thing by x minus 2, these cancel out, and I'm left with a minus 9, so I put that down. That's it. All right. Here, you did this in Algebra 1. Consider the product. So whenever we're producting it, two binomials, we're going to use this method called FOIL. First, outer, inner, last. So I'm going to put my 3x plus 2 in the first bubble, 3x plus 2. In the second bubble, I'm going to put 2x plus 5, 2x plus 5. Let me just go ahead and change my color. So I'm going to do first. 3x times 2x is 6x squared. I'm going to do outer, my outer side. So my outer is going to be 3x times 5, which is going to be 3 times 5 gives me 15. I'm going to bring the x along. Then I'm going to go ahead and do my inner. So my inners are 2 times 2x. So positive 2 times 2x is going to give me 4x. The reason why I lined it up is because they both have x's and I can combine them. They are like terms. And then I'm going to do my last. 2 times 5 is positive 10. Now I'm just going to combine like terms. So the 6x squared comes down. 15 plus 4 is 19x. And then I have plus 10. So this right here is my final answer. If you're like, what, Ms. Varghese? What are you doing? I'm going to go ahead and just show this to you another way. 3x plus 2, right? You put boxes. So we have a 3x plus 2. And then I have a 2x plus 5, 2x plus 5. So this is called the area model. So all you're doing is you're literally just like multiplying, right? So we have 2x times 3x gives you 6x squared. 3x times 5, right? To find the area, 3x times 5 is going to be 15x. Then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing over here. So 2x times 2 is going to give me 4x. And 5 times 2 is going to give me 10. I'm going to combine like terms. So my like terms are right here. They'll always be on the diagonal. So 6x squared doesn't have anything to combine with, so you leave it as 6x squared. 15x plus 4x gives you 19x. And the 10 doesn't have anything to combine with, so you just bring it down. So these two answers will be exactly the same, which is what you want. All right. The last thing, you can do the same thing except with a 3 by 2, right? So I'm just going to show you how to set it up. So 4x plus 3, I'm going to do 4x here, and I'm going to do a 3 here. There's a plus sign between them. Over here, I'm going to do 2x squared minus 5x and a minus 3. So very quickly, you should pause the video here and try this yourself, and then play it back to make sure that you're doing it correct. 2x squared times 4x gives you 8x to the third. And this right here, I'm going to do 4x times negative 5x, which is negative 20x squared. Over here in this one right here, I'm going to do 4x times negative 3, which is negative 12x. Over here in this box, just go ahead and change colors. I'm going to do 2x squared times 3, which is going to give me 6x squared. Negative 5x times 3 is negative 15x. Negative 3 times positive 3 is going to be negative 9. I'm going to look along the diagonals, right? So here's a diagonal. They're like terms. This is a diagonal. They're like terms. So I'm going to put my final answer down altogether. 8x cubed doesn't match with anything, so I'm just going to write that down. 8x cubed. Negative 20x squared plus 6 is going to be negative 14x squared. Negative 12x negative 15x is going to be negative 27x. And the negative 9 comes along for the ride. So that whole polynomial is your answer. You're going to go ahead and do the rest on your own, and then check your answers and do your mastery check. All right. Good job, guys and girls.